The American Nutrition Association, with the cooperation of the J.W. and Doris K. Christopher Nutrition Sciences Center of Dominican University, is pleased to present Thomas O'Brien, BC, CCN, DA, CBN, and Susan Vess for the program Take Gluten-Free Living to the Next Level, Understanding the Science and Practice of a Healthy Gluten-Free Life. Dr. Thomas O'Brien is a graduate of the University of Michigan and the National College of Chiropractic. He is a diplomate of the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners, a diplomate of the Clinical Nutrition Board of the American Chiropractic Association, a certified clinical nutritionist with the International and American Association of Clinical Nutritionists, and an active member of the Institute of Functional Medicine.
I'm making an assumption here today that the people here understand a little about gluten sensitivity and celiac disease and the many ways that it can manifest. Bottom line, it affects your intestines. The ratio is 8-to-1. For every one time it affects someone with their intestines, 8 times it doesn't affect their intestines, it affects some other part of their body. And the most common system of the body to be affected is the brain and the nervous system. And you'll find that the format of how I speak today is study after study after study after study. So it's just the information from the literature, from what the researchers have tried to tell us. There are 18,000 research articles on gluten sensitivity and celiac disease now published, over 18,000. And I'm going to give you quotes on just a few of those. But I'm making an assumption that most of you already know or understand that gluten sensitivity and celiac disease may just affect your heart and no other symptoms. Or it may just affect your liver and no other symptoms. I'm making the assumption that you know that and that you don't think that it has to be in the intestines. If you want that background information on all of the different systems of the body that it might impact on, Susan and I did a presentation like this a couple of years ago, and we have a DVD that's all about all of the many systems of the body that might be affected. That DVD will be here later for you if you want one of them. Today, we're talking about why don't I feel great on a gluten-free diet, and how do you implement a gluten-free diet? How do you cook for it? My job is to cry wolf. Susan's job is to teach you how to make wolf stew. So that's what the next 2 hours are going to be about, okay? Now, some of you have heard that with blood testing, that sometimes it's, your blood tests come back normal and you think that's okay. Or the doctor thinks that's okay, even though you feel sick. Some of the blood tests can be abnormal, but not quite too bad. You know, they say there's a reference range in terms of antibodies. Antibodies are soldiers produced by your immune system to attack something. That's what vaccinations do, is they stimulate the production of antibodies against measles or against tetanus or many different vaccinations that we get. That's the purpose, is to stimulate the production of antibodies. They're soldiers. Well, you can make antibodies to foods. And most doctors think that there's a normal range of antibodies that you can get to foods or to your own tissue. For example, here, the tissues in the body that your immune system makes antibodies to if you have celiac disease are called transglutaminase and endomysium. There are 2 different parts of the intestines. And if you make antibodies, you start attacking your intestines. And most of the literature says that the positive predictive value, if you have antibodies to transglutaminase endomysium,